Everybody, it's been a really long time since I made a video. I didn't even remember what I had last told you, and I've tried to make this video about 100 times now because I remembered things that are somewhat important that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I hadn't got it in the video, and so here we go again. I'm sorry I didn't make videos. I just kind of lost interest because I didn't really know what I wanted to discuss and what I didn't want to discuss with everyone. So I'm gonna try to stick with these videos and update you guys as much as I can for those of you who don't follow my blog or anything like that. So, what happened? So I had a laparoscopic and HSG test. We kind of just did them together while I was already in surgery. For the laparoscopy, he decided to go ahead and do the HSG test, and that was crazy. So they confirmed endometriosis. He burned what he could off, and we found that my tubes are totally fine, nothing wrong there, so that was really good news. And I felt really good. I thought, okay, surgery is gonna help. That's what I needed, obviously. So that was supposed to be a really good thing. And then afterwards, it turned out it wasn't. He told us just to try that for that first cycle afterwards, and my cat's jumping on the table. Can you not? So anyways, we after the surgery, I was in so much pain. I don't know, those of you who've had laparoscopy, if you've been in a lot of pain, but I knew a lot of people who told me that the gas pain was like the worst, and they were not kidding. I was miserable, and I just sat on the couch, and my husband took such good care of me, and I was the biggest baby ever, and the heating pad became my best friend. And so yeah, I had this surgery, and then we tried for the first cycle, and obviously nothing happened. So I called my doctor, and he's like, well, I really think that we should talk about Clomid as a possibility. And I thought, okay, cool. I know a lot of people who are on Clomid or who have taken Clomid to help them ovulate, so he wasn't like convinced that it was gonna help, I think. And he didn't say that to me, but I kind of felt that way. And so I wasn't very convinced either. The plan was to try 3 rounds of Clomid, and after the 3rd round, if it still hadn't worked, then he was gonna refer me to a fertility specialist. So yeah, I took the first round of Clomid, and I was basically crazy. And my emotions were everywhere. My hormones were wild. My poor husband, I felt awful for him because I sort of wanted to kill him half the time. And when I wasn't wanting to kill him, I was crying for whatever reason, and I was having hot flashes at work, so I was kind of a mess. And I thought, all these changes, and surgery didn't work, this pill must work. Like, every time you try something new, you think, this is what I need and this will help, and then when it doesn't, it kind of bums you out a lot. So after that first round, I got a BFN, and I was horribly upset. Like, it killed me a little bit because I really thought that that's what I needed. At first I didn't think that, but once you go through it and you're like, all right, well, this was the next step, so maybe this worked. And when it didn't, it kind of sucked. But I was ready to move on to the next cycle, and so that's what we did. The second round of Clomid was not near as bad when it comes to side effects. But at the end of it, I got really sick. I'm not really sure what that was about. But I kind of got like a 24-hour bug, I guess. And I kind of started to symptom spot with that. I was like, oh, that means I'm pregnant. And so that made me a little crazy too. And so we both kind of had high hopes for the second round, and when it didn't work, I kind of had given up hope on the Clomid, and I was like, well, if these 2 rounds didn't work, then the 3rd round isn't gonna work. My husband had a different idea. He was like, 3rd time's a charm, maybe that 3rd cycle will really kick it up a notch for us, and that'll be what we needed. So we tried the 3rd round of Clomid. I had little to no side effects, and didn't work. I got a BFN. Actually, my cycle was really strange this time, and I am still a little confused by the whole thing. I've been fairly normal, and I had like this routine of my cycle, and so I was a little confused by it, and it was kind of playing with my mind a little bit. Like, I thought, oh, maybe it's too early, maybe, I don't know. I kept playing with it in my head, and like when I was spotting, I was like, okay, maybe I am pregnant, because sometimes you can spot, and I was feeling these pains, and I don't know. I was really making myself go nuts. And so finally I knew I wasn't pregnant, and so I knew that the next step was the fertility specialist. I have to say, after that third round, I wasn't as upset, because I just kind of felt like I already knew a long time ago, starting the third round, that it wasn't going to work for us. And so I wasn't all that shocked when it didn't, and I think we were just kind of like ready to go on with the next step, whatever was next. So I tried to call my doctor to explain to him everything and tell him, you know, I'm ready to talk about a referral to the fertility specialist. And he was near impossible to reach, which was somewhat frustrating. And that's what's hard about where I live, is it's a small area, and I don't have a lot of options when it comes to doctors, especially really good ones. So I love my doctor, and we have a good relationship, so I didn't really want to mess that up, but I was getting really irritated. Sorry, my cat. Okay, you have to get down. Sorry. Anyways, I kept calling, and then finally I got through to a nurse, and she said that my pap smear was due anyways, and so when we could schedule that, and when I come in, he'd talk to me about everything. The bad thing about that is, it is the beginning of July, and they couldn't schedule even a pap smear until August 10th, which is crazy. It's usually really easy to get in with my doctor, and I was frustrated when I couldn't, and my next thought was, well, maybe I can get in to see a fertility specialist without a referral. Some insurances require a referral. I don't know how that works all the time, but I wanted to look more into that, so I did. The fertility specialist he had planned, this is ridiculous. The fertility specialist he planned to send me to, it's a good place. It's just, I had heard a couple of other people's preferences, and so I decided to go ahead and go with that. A family friend of mine, she sees a doctor who is in the same town as where I was going to go anyways, and I was already planning on being in that town the first weekend of August, so I really wanted to kill two birds with one stone. And the doctor that she suggested just happened to be in that same town as the fertility clinic we plan on going to anyways. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give this doctor a call and see if, you know, maybe, I don't know, I guess I'd heard it's really hard to get in to see the fertility specialist, but you never know. So anyways, I made a phone call, and the nurse was amazing. She was so sweet and really helpful, and she told me basically what I would expect and what I would need to bring and all that. And so I felt like, just talking to her, I felt a little bit better about everything. And then she was like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and schedule, we can. And I was like, well, when's the soonest you could schedule? Just out of curiosity. She's like, oh, we can schedule you for July 16th. That's crazy. I was like, you can get me into a fertility specialist before my own doctor can see me for a pap smear. Okay, so I got really excited, but of course July 16th is just a little too soon to make that drive, because I would have to ask off work and all that. So my husband and I discussed it, and I called her back, and so I now have a actual scheduled appointment for the fertility specialist on August 10th. So I don't know exactly what to expect. I know what other people have gone through, and I know what the nurse told me, but I'm really anxious to see what he wants to do and what our next plan is. So for this cycle, we're just going the old-fashioned way and waiting for that appointment, and we're both super excited about it, and we're just gonna make a whole weekend of it and have a good time. So that's my update. That's all I've got for you guys. That was kind of a lot, but I promise to not wait so long before I make another video. I'll try to keep back up with them again, and I really appreciate your guys' comments and people messaging me. You guys are awesome, and you're the reason that I can get through this. I've had an amazing support system. So thank you guys for that, and thanks for reaching out to me. And I swear I will try and keep up with my videos this time, so it's not such of a long explanation and story for you. But anyways, August 10th is my fertility specialist, so say some prayers or think of me or whatever you do. Just keep that in mind, and hopefully we get some answers and we can get our little miracle baby.